Hey, welcome back. Okay, Justin. Okay, back with another video. Now today, I feel like a sucker. Jim Cramer says he was wrong to believe Donald Trump on the tariffs. Sip tea to that bullshit. Subscribe, turn on post notifications. You know what to do with that like button. And y'all gotta keep coming, man. I'm loving y'all. Like it's great. It's great. I love this, man. Y'all are definitely something. I love y'all, man. Even in the comments, y'all be some meanies. Y'all be some mean people to me, but that's all right, man. You know, I'm just speaking what I speak for my country. I'm doing all this for my country. That's the part y'all don't understand. I'm doing this for my country. Trying to save my country. Anyways, I'm just playing. Let's hop right into the video. No time to waste. Let's get it. Let's go.
Breaking news, Vice President J.D. Vance just saying the Trump administration is, quote, feeling good about Trump's tariffs.
Okay.
We're feeling good. Look, I frankly thought in some ways it could be worse in the markets because this is a big transition. You saw the president said earlier today, it's like a patient who was very sick. We did the operation, and now it's time to make the patient better, and that's exactly what we're doing.
Interesting enough, you can't say anything bad about Donald Trump. So, if you're in his administration, so it's just interesting to watch all of them do them two steps. But he knows just as well as a lot of the people in the Republican Party. That's why they're not fully saying they stick with the idea of tariffs. That tariffs is a bad idea. He knows it. He knows it, and we'll see.
This is Jim Cramer from CNBC's Mad Money, who's never been a free trader, right? So he's not just out here to go against them. He's saying the White House doesn't seem to understand what it's trying to do, and that the reciprocal tariffs are not reciprocal and could do tremendous damage. So, out front now, Jim Cramer of CNBC's Mad Money and Squawk on the Street, all on CNBC, an incredible network that I will love when I die. I'm so thrilled that we're able to talk. Okay, so what the heck is going on?
Well, I'm let down because yes, I'm not a free trader. I'm a fair trader. Always have been from the days when you worked with me at CNBC. And what I was hoping was a coordinated thing where if you are charging us 20%, we charge you 20. Instead of a car where we're only making you pay 2.5 and you're not letting us in. We try to get things better. But
it's just a specific thing. You go, if they're 10 on a car, you go 10 on a car.
But I went deep on the numbers today, and the numbers did not make any sense. And I was actually...
You made it, I was doing like bananas in Vietnam. You did Cramerica.
I just said, it's one of these things where if I'm doing $100 billion and you're letting me do $10 billion and I'm letting you do $100 billion, there was a way to be able to make it work, but the numbers that they did, and they had this ridiculous... that was the chart that they had with the mathematical equation. I mean, are you kidding me? How about just like...
It worked like an Einstein.
I know. How about the fact that it was just wrong? And what bothered me was that they really did, over and over again, the president said, listen, it's going to be reciprocal. So you do it, we do it.
Okay, hold on. Wait. They're just attacking him. I got to have this question. What was wrong with the chart? Somebody needs to explain that. Explain that out loud to the public. What was wrong with the chart? Explain how tariffs actually work. What people are explaining right now is that the tariff is a tax. They're explaining that part, and people are kind of starting to get that part of it. But what they need to explain is why countries tariffed, right? And they need to explain the economic value behind some countries using tariffs and other countries not using tariffs. And why sometimes a reciprocal tariff on a country doesn't make any sense at all, while a tariff that they have specifically on their industries might be a benefit in a sense to us. Sounds crazy, but the reason why some countries tariffed is to save their industries. Some of those industries we are dependent on to get goods from, right? So the tariff isn't hitting us, it's hitting them when it comes into their country. So it's protecting those industries for them. Saying all that to say, like, explain that. Like in South Africa has a lot of, I'm not going to say it's a poor nation, but it's nowhere near as a lot of Western nations. It's nowhere near as that. It's still developing. And through that development, they have to protect some of their industries. If we brought our industries in, it could either crash their markets or destroy their dollar values or prevent them from becoming a sovereign state. It's the same thing kind of with Canada. Like, I personally think, I don't know this for sure, but the reason why they had a tariff was to protect their farmers, their industries that they need to still grow. They're only, 44 million people, somewhere around there? They're nowhere near as 300 million people. So they have to protect their industries a little more. And if our industries come in and completely bogart and destroy their industries and somewhat prevent them from becoming a sovereign state, So that's why they tariffed, and that needs to be explained too. So when we're getting tariffs and we're reciprocating the tariffs on these countries in order to get them back, it's not really a big help, in my opinion. It's just going to cause a global economic crash. I don't know, man. That's my opinion. You guys can judge in the comments if you want.
And that was going to be so good. I really believe it. And I feel like a sucker tonight because I am not a free trader, and I do not believe in free trade. And I was just as tough, if not tougher, than his people, but they screwed it up, and they really did it in a totally ill-advised way. And I was very let down as someone who really truly believes that free trade is awful for the American working person. This is what they came up with. Jeez, come on, have some gumption, have some math.
I mean, so how in the world do they do that? After all of this,
They assured us over and over again that they were going to do the thing that would make it so the tariffs would come down and the countries that were bad actors would change their ways. And then so then Israel decided to get rid of tariff.
And they tariffed it anyway.
Vietnam decided to cut their tariff, and they still got the highest tariff. It was such a shame because they missed the opportunity, and now they have to pay.
So Vietnam cut their tariff, and they still tariffed Vietnam? Yeah, this is bad. This isn't good.
And it's funny, too, because none of this stock market, none of this had that. And I feel bad because a lot of people lose money when this happens. I hope people just be calm and be constructive. But the way that they handled it was so Bush League that I was surprised. And President Trump has people who around him know these things. And
can you explain why when you hear Scott Bessent,
nobody wants to get fired. Nobody's going to tell them the truth. Nobody wants to get fired, man. Duh, we know this.
Smart guy.
He's very smart.
He is a smart, thoughtful, respected person, and he came out and defended these.
Well, I think when you
but people like that, they know. Who knows?
I tried to think of that. Peter Navarro is someone I've known for 5 decades,
Yep.
and I was hoping that Peter, whom I talked with a lot, really understood because he understood. He taught me these things, and I know he knows what reciprocal tariff really is, and he didn't deliver on that, and that was a shame because there was such a great opportunity to course correct and make it so all these people who have taken advantage of our country repeatedly and wiped out all of the jobs in small towns, wiped out my father's job. This is one of the reasons why I've always felt like this. It's ridiculous how badly we've been taken advantage of. And I thought they were going to do something. And what they do, they created the damn stock market and gave us nothing.
Well, I just want to emphasize.
And that's another thing. In a very highly developed nation that we are, can we really go back to factory type work? You know, these were wiped out because we're developing more. But through the development, definitely some people get cut off in the process. But we need something more than just going back to. We just need something more. I feel like we need something more than building car part factories. Like I think like the chip idea was a good idea. Like computer science, technology, things like that. We still need trades. Trades are not going away. We still have trucks that people need to work on. We still have plumbing. We'll always have plumbing. We still have HVAC systems that need to be removed and or put in. And you know, we still have a lot of things. Yeah. So there's a lot of work we still got to do.
Again, I think it's so important to emphasize where you're coming from. Because there are some who will come out and say, well, you know, free trade, you know, like a couple of your old friends.
We always had the flashpoint with me in life.
Right, it was about free trade, and they'll make the economic argument for it, and but you're not actually coming from that. You're not open. You're not ideologically opposed to the concept of what they were trying to do.
Not at all.
But they didn't do it.
They made a bargain with the devil. They decided to get rid of the American working person's good job with a good pension and sacrifice it so we could get cheap goods. And they never thought for a minute, the Republicans or Democrats, what would happen to those towns and those people, and they were left behind. And I always felt that was horrendous. A president comes along that's going to do something about it, and this is what he does?
Part of the reason, and you and I are friends for a long, long time, but many people know our relationship for this one moment. Not this moment, but a moment.
And I got decades of mine. So fortunate to be friends with you and your family.
There was this moment, and if anyone hasn't seen it, I'm going to play it because we're in a moment right now. I don't know if you heard Peter Tuchman describe it. But it was a feeling like in COVID, of just feeling a darkness and a fear on that floor that people hadn't felt. And it was a horrible feeling that makes you feel sick. And there was another moment, you mentioned there was one other moment. And that moment was that horrible crash when nobody thought they could even get money out of an ATM. And you said it like it was at that time. I want to play the moment.
He has no idea.
Cramer.
I have talked to the heads of
don't know if you guys think that we're stupid, but we know that was acting. We're not stupid. We know that's acting. We know all this is acting. Again, explain it. Like, this is the thing about CNN and Fox. CNN bashes Trump, Fox bashed Obama. I need you guys to explain what you're bashing, why you're bashing it, right? He's bashing it because he thinks that they got the numbers wrong. How did they get the numbers wrong? Explain the number differences. If Vietnam dropped their tariffs, in a sense that almost sounds like a good thing, that he's threatening these tariffs in order to get global economic markets to close their tariffs and get rid of their things so that we can expand. If that's what's happening, then maybe he's not wrong 100%, but who knows? Like, all that acting and shit, we need to know 100%. Explain it to the public. I understand it, but people like him who are on TV networks that are huge like this, that attract a significant audience, need to explain this to people. What are you upset about? Jesus.
Yeah, that one. Obviously is very much less medicated than me now. Or maybe just younger and a little more fiery. But yeah, that was 2007, you and I both knew. And I was getting tired of trying to be calm and trying to be like, yeah, we're supposed to be on TV. Right. But I always felt comfortable with you, and I know that I just said, oh shit, what was you do? That's all right. My friend's going to be on tomorrow at our age. I'm going to have them on.
Oh, you're going to have them on?
Yeah, I didn't know for a long time.
Well, I want to know what it's like in that moment. When you're looking at the computer on your 100
points. We drop 100 points.
But here we are. I understand it's a different moment in some senses.
I'm sorry.
It's another moment like that, though.
Okay, so
people should know better, and they don't.
Okay, so let's put it in perspective. Then I was worried about my paycheck. I was worried about all the banks failing. I was worried that Cliff Bernanke didn't know what he's doing, and he didn't. The Tim Geithner was a terrific treasury secretary, but he didn't understand. And what I saw happening was just the unraveling of the republic. This is not that. This is a man-made issue that can be corrected through some thought. Maybe get the Treasury Secretary more involved. Maybe explain to the people why you want to do this. But this is nothing.
By the way, a man-made issue. It is an issue made by one man.
Right. So it's true. And there were others who were around him who didn't give him good advice. But this can be. And look, I know he's going to have to dig into this because that's his nature. But the economy's stronger. Unemployment is very, very low still. We still have a fantastic Fed chief in Jay Powell, who's a remarkable person. A adult in the room who will do the right thing now because they just created inflation. They didn't seem to realize. I mean, I thought that President Trump won in part because he realized that there was so much inflation. Well, they just gave you far more inflation. That was a shame. And now you have people hoarding. Forget. I mean, I'll see you at Costco on Saturday. I love Costco, but not because I'm hoarding. But I do got gold for Costco. I like gold. But I just feel that they just did the wrong thing, Aaron. But it's not something that is catastrophic. The stock market will recover, but this is not 2007 when so many people lost everything.
Yeah, well, and let's hope that they can course correct. By the way, Jim Cramer buys gold bars at Costco. There you go.
Well, so I was doing the gold executive the other day who said, you know what? I do it too. I get 3% back on my credit card. I said, but you're the largest gold miner in the world. He goes, a bargain's a bargain.
All right, well, there you go. So there's your advice. Gold bars at Costco. It's wonderful to see you, Jim. And I so appreciate that you could come and that CNBC let you come. And, of course, CNBC's Mad Money. Just walk on the street. You can see Jim.
Here's the thing, okay? All this animation and shit, again, like, to me, doesn't really matter. How do you explain this to the public to where the public can understand it? And that's what you have to do, man. And as far as I'm concerned, he's right. The stock market will come back up. That's definitely something that we don't have to worry about. All we need to know is how long is this tariff thing going to go on? How long are you going to keep it on? And how long the country just needs certainty. That's all. It doesn't matter, who's in office. There needs to be certainty coming from the White House. There's no certainty right now, so there's a lot of confusion going on. But hey, I'm out, y'all. Peace. Fuck.